This video is brought to you in partnership with Deaf Identity. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Ren. I make videos a couple of times a week about books and pop culture, and today I am bringing you another video talking about some of my favourite books that have deaf representation in them. There's a couple of fiction books and there's a couple of non-fiction books as well. And like I said at the start of the video, I'm actually making this video in partnership with Deaf Identity, which is a deaf-owned UK clothing brand. I'm currently wearing their jumper. This says autumn in BSL with a little pumpkin, and it's so cute and so cozy and so nice. And I actually have been buying from Deaf Identity for like 2 years now. When they said like, yes, we want to work with you, I honestly, like, it was dream collaboration. I love the company, I love everything they stand for, I love the awareness that they spread, and I love their clothing. I have so many pieces of theirs now and I absolutely love every single one. Deaf Identity genuinely want there to be awareness. They want people who are deaf in whatever shape or form feel celebrated and spoken about and heard. This is what this does. The amount of awareness that they bring, the fact that they completely understand there's no right or wrong way to be deaf. They understand the importance of deaf community. Honestly, I love every single thing that they stand for, and I'm so excited to be working with them, and also so excited to share some of my favourite books and talk about my own deaf identity as well. So if you don't know, if you've just stumbled upon this video and you don't know any backstory about me, I am deaf. I am deaf in both ears. I have 2 hearing aids. I've actually been deaf since I was born, but I wasn't fully aware of it. There would be things like I'd have to sit at the front of the class because they would say it helped me focus more, it helped me like pay attention better. If I was sat at the front of the class, I could understand better. And there were little things like that. And then when COVID hit, I suddenly like couldn't really understand what people were saying. I didn't go out for a while, and when I did go out, people were wearing masks and I couldn't really understand it. So I went to get my ears checked. And from the amount of hearing loss that I have, they were able to have do more kind of tests and stuff, and they did determine that it was congenital, which means I was born with it, but I was born with minimal hearing loss, and over time it has developed into now what is severe hearing loss. And I have just adapted, taught myself to lip read, did things like sit at the front of the class, use subtitles, subconsciously adapted. But now I have hearing aids. I cried. It was very odd at first to be told that I was deaf. I think that, you know, it's a huge thing. I've dealt with a lot of medical issues and a lot of medical conditions, and it was interesting because when you get diagnosed with something, when you're told that something is there, it's very, like, you have like a very strange process of it. Like, I think you kind of, there's a lot that kind of goes on in your head when you're told it. And the thing that I find so lovely about being told that I was deaf is that it comes with this huge community of people who don't treat it as if there's something wrong with you. And I love that. I love the deaf community. I think that my deaf identity is so wrapped up in the deaf community and these conversations that the deaf community have in understanding that this isn't something that needs to be fixed. This is just a part of us. And I really like that, and it kind of changed my view on a lot of things. You know, when I was told I was deaf, the first thing that they said was, we'll get you fitted for some hearing aids, which I had done. And it was kind of like, yeah, well, yeah, it makes sense, you have hearing aids. But actually now, like, I wear them, but not as much as I used to, because I embrace being deaf. I am deaf, that's it. And I think a lot of people that aren't deaf think, well, why wouldn't you want to wear something that kind of corrects it or helps it? Why wouldn't you want to fix this? Why wouldn't you want to look into research into like helping deaf children be able to hear? And I think that those things are really important, but I also think that it's so important to understand that being deaf is this, it comes with this huge community and this huge understanding that it's not something that needs to be fixed, and that we are fine how we are. And it actually makes me aware of how society should adapt. I do think we should teach BSL in schools. I think there should be more understanding that people are deaf. There needs to be more understanding that deafness is this massive spectrum. You've not got perfect hearing, or you're completely profoundly deaf. It is a huge spectrum of people all in between, and I think that's really important. And I think my identity like I kind of had to have a big reshift about what I thought and how I fit into this community, because I didn't know anyone that was deaf when I found out I was deaf. So it was like this huge kind of shift, and I had to figure out how I fit. And actually I feel so welcome and it was really nice to have that and to kind of fall into that. And I think it's so important to find those people and find your deaf community. I think that's very important. I'm very proud to be deaf, and I want to talk about deafness and awareness and understanding of everything that comes with being deaf and celebrate it at the same time. I think that doing both things is just as important, and I love that Deaf Identity does that, and it allows us to wear our deafness very much on our sleeve for everyone to see. I've had so many compliments on this jumper already, and when I tell them it's sign language, they're like, oh my god, this is literally BSL and it says autumn, it's got a little pumpkin and it's so cute. But you can get like custom things and so many things, and I just love how they celebrate deafness. If you guys want to go and check out Deaf Identity, I will link their information in the description. But without further ado, let's get into some book recommendations. I'm going to dive into two that I have on my Kindle. The first one is The Silence Between Us by Alison Gervais. This focuses on Maya. She is deaf and she is going to be attending a hearing school for the first time, and she has to adjust to hearing culture. She finds people quite frustrating. One of her classmates starts to learn ASL, and it's kind of how she navigates her deafness and how she wants to be proud of that and not fall into what people think when people think that it's like a disadvantage. She wants people to know she is proud to be deaf, and this is not a bad thing. And it's everything from there, and kind of her figuring that out and kind of coming of age and dealing with her deaf identity. And then we have The Loudest Silence by Signe Langford. This focuses on Casey, and Casey wants to be a professional singer, but then she gets sudden permanent profound hearing loss, which is a thing that happens. You can be one day hearing absolutely like fine, and then the next day have profound hearing loss, and this is a huge thing. She has to now adjust to having permanent hearing loss and figuring out what to do and how to now navigate the world as a deaf person, and kind of how she sees herself and how she sees her future. And then she meets her classmate Hayden, who also sort of keeping secrets and keeping things close to his chest, and it is everything from there, and then navigating their new friendship and themselves and their futures and everything from there. Then we have God Killer by Hannah Kana, and this focuses on Kissing, and her family were killed by a god, and now she makes a living killing gods. It is that adventure and everything from there, and it kind of starts with her encountering an unlikely companion, and it's everything from there. And this has really good like disability rap in it, and it has deaf rap in it, and it's done really well, and I really liked it. And then we have I Hear Sunspot. This is a manga, but I need to actually rave about this. This is so cute. This is a queer manga, Kohei and Tashi, and it's so good. So Kohei is deaf, and not only does it explore Japanese Sign Language, because every country is different. I think a lot of people don't realise that there's not a universal sign language. Every country has different sign language. So we have BSL, America has ASL, Japan will have JSL, and this explores that, and it's really good. And this also explores how hearing loss is a spectrum, and not everybody with hearing loss will be profoundly deaf, and I absolutely love that, and I love the inclusion of that and the conversation surrounding deafness. I thought it was really good, and I cannot recommend this series enough. It's so cute and just so well done. And then we have Give Me a Sign by Anna Sortino, and this focuses on Lila, who is deaf, and she's kind of at a bit of a like stuck point in her teenage years. So she decides to be a counsellor at a camp for deaf and blind students, and it's kind of figuring out how she fits in there and how she fits in as a counsellor there, and kind of embracing her deafness and embracing ASL and everyone she meets and the different levels of sight loss and hearing loss that these people have, and kind of how they embrace that. And I really loved this book. I thought it was really good. It really took me by surprise. I thought that the variety of deaf representation was phenomenal. And then we have Show Me a Sign by Anne-Claire Lazotte, and this focuses on Mary, and she lives on the island of Martha's Vineyard, and everyone there is deaf. Like her like great grandfather was a settler and the first deaf islander, and now deafness is very prevalent on the island. And then someone comes in and wants to kind of explore this and cure them of their deafness. And Mary sort of becomes this really awful experiment, and it's everything from there. And it's a really good conversation of, like, it's quite a hard read, I think, in some elements, but it's a really, really good conversation when it comes to deafness and how non-deaf people perceive it, because people do see it as something that they need to cure, whereas that's not the case for the majority of deaf people. So this is a really interesting conversation of outsiders thinking that they're doing good but they're actually not, and everything from there, and it's really good. And then I have 2 non-fiction books. The first one I have is Seeing Voices by Oliver Sacks, and this is a really interesting insight into deafness and people living with hearing loss. It talks about how people that cannot hear rely on other senses, particularly vision, for lots of different things, and how paramount that is. And it's just a really interesting and really important read that explores a lot of things that I think people without hearing loss don't think about. And then finally, this book. So this is another non-fiction book, and it is Living with Hearing Loss and Deafness by Samantha Baines. I wish that I had had this book when I first found out that I was deaf. I think it would have helped me so much, which is why I have to be talking about it. Samantha's own journey, but also a lot of insight from different people from the RNID, and the Royal National Institute of the Deaf, audiologists, deaf activists, people who use sign language, people who teach sign language, and it is all of these different insights. Really important, really good, funny as well. Loved it. I thought it was really funny, and just really, really good insights from someone who has experienced deafness and lives with hearing loss, and is able to kind of share that along with lots of other people. So yes, that was some more book racks with deaf representation. I've made videos like this before if you want to go and check it out. Yeah, that was a little video, and also I did a similar one for Disability Awareness Month, where I talked about lots of different disabilities as well. If you want to go and check out Deaf Identity, all their information will be in the description, so please go and check them out. They are genuinely such a lovely company to support, so please go and check out Deaf Identity and read about everything that they do. And also in the description there will be all the links to all my social media and everything like that. If you have your own recommendations for books of deaf representation, please leave them in the comments below, and feel free to hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell as well. Thank you for watching. I hope you're doing really, 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 really well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.